Today we're taking Gordon Ramsay's 3 best recipes and we're all cooking them over the fire, Derek Wolfe style. You don't need a fancy kitchen, you don't need all the crazy knives. We can make incredible food over the fire, Gordon Ramsay level, right here in your backyard. One of my absolute favorites that Gordon Ramsay makes is the classic butter-basted steak. This is even more so than just a Gordon Ramsay recipe. This is just like a fantastic way of cooking steak. It's pretty much become commonplace in how you cook steak. We have this beautiful bone-in ribeye. We're gonna butter baste them. Gonna start by adding a little bit of neutral oil, and then, simple, salt, pepper, garlic. Season it up nice, get all the sides. All right, let's get our skillet hot. Okay, so we have our cast iron skillet. I'm gonna let this guy preheat with a little bit of oil. Let that preheat, then we're gonna add on our steak. All right, so we got our oil ripping hot, add in the steak. So I'm just gonna sear one side really quickly to get a beautiful kind of caramelization and crust, and then we'll start butter basting. Not bad. I'm gonna lower the temperature by pulling the actual skillet and the grill all the way up. I'm gonna push this guy into the back corner, and now we're gonna butter baste. I'm gonna grab a hefty amount of butter, drop that in. I have some rosemary and thyme and about 3 smashed garlic cloves. Melt that all in. Let it soak, let the butter and the rosemary and everything and the herbs kind of all soak together. And then I'm gonna put the actual herbs on top of the steak along with the garlic. And now, while we're letting it get to that like kind of foamy white, once it's there, start basting. But this is how Gordon does it. Let's make it Derek Wolfe style. I'm gonna grab a smoldering coal from the fire. I'm gonna blow it off so you can see the glowing red. We're gonna drop it in. In theory, this should add some epic smokiness onto our steak, but it's gonna go out quickly. So I'm gonna grab another one. I'm gonna add it right into the butter itself. This way it goes right into the butter. So we're smoking the butter as we're basting our steak. There is nothing inherently wrong with charcoal. You know, you put it in your toothpaste, people have it all the time. So don't be afraid of that. But if you don't want to do it, I understand. You're missing out though. All right, pull our steak off. Now we let it rest. It's been resting for about 10 minutes. I'm gonna pull off some of these herbs and let's slice into it. How did we do? Medium rare, medium, much more medium. Not bad though. It has a beautiful crust. I can actually kind of smell the smokiness from the charcoal. Overall, like, I'm pretty impressed. It has so much moisture. You can see like it's gonna be a tender cut with a lot of that butter flavor. Like it's the best way to make a steak. Like hands down, butter basting is one of the best ways to make a steak. All right, let's try it out. You can taste that smokiness. It's so good. Butter and steak is the best combo. So I think the difference is with this compared to just like smoking a steak, it's the butter on the outside that has the smokiness instead of the steak that has the smokiness. It's just different. You still get a very strong meaty flavor with a lot of buttery flavor, but then you get this essence of smoke. Whereas like if you're throwing it onto a smoker, it's just gonna be very powerful smoke flavor. If you're not the biggest fan of smoking, I highly recommend smoking the butter while you baste it, because honestly, it tastes just as good as Gordon Ramsay. I mean, this is incredible. Highly recommend, 10 out of 10. That steak is dope. Let's move on to the next. One of Gordon's most famous dishes is the lemon dill salmon. And today, we're gonna make it my style, just a little bit different. So I'm here in Nashville, Tennessee. We're gonna make it Nashville hot lemon dill salmon, cooked in the coals. We have 3 sheets of foil. I got these laid out flat, and then I have my lemon slices. I'm gonna lay these out about the same width and length of your entire salmon. I have an entire side of salmon, should be good. Okay, perfect. So I have this beautiful wild caught salmon. I'm gonna lay him down on top of the lemons. So these lemons are not only gonna impart a little bit of citrusy, herbaceous flavor onto the fish itself, but they're also gonna protect from the coals. Boom. Okay, now season it up. So I'm gonna add a little bit of oil. Actually, we're gonna add a decent amount of oil because we really just wanna make sure that this guy doesn't get completely charred. And then my Nashville hot seasoning. So traditionally, Nashville hot is used on chicken, but this time we're gonna use it on salmon. I think that sweet but spicy flavor that you get with Nashville hot just pairs so well on salmon. I've done this before and it's insane. Okay, now I have some chopped up dill. We're just gonna all over the salmon, pat that in, and boom. I'm gonna add just a little bit more oil over the top. All right, now let's start wrapping. What? My name is?
I'm not a rapper.
I'm gonna just start folding in the foil. I kind of want to vent it a little bit. So I'm gonna start by folding the edges nice and tight. Don't want to crush the salmon though, so try and make it like not fully touching the salmon. And then I'm just gonna crease those top edges. Let's throw this onto the charcoal. So this doesn't look like a ton of charcoal, but this thing is hot. We've been cooking on it all day. So I'm gonna drop this guy right into the coals, and there we go. We're gonna let it sit there and cook somewhere between like 5 to 10 minutes. This guy's been cooking for about like 7-ish minutes, or however long my video editor wants to say that we have been having it cook. All right, let's let it rest. All right, let's open this bad boy up, see how we did. Ah, look at that. That looks insane. Super easy, it takes 5 minutes to cook, or however long Nate wants to say it took. All right, so we added a little Vermonte on top of the salmon. Vermonte is more or less like a water and butter. We added a little bit of dill and a little bit of shallot in there. Let's see how we did. Ah, look at that, dude. That looks delicious. Round of applause. That was incredible. Dude, the Nashville hot comes in with this beautiful kick. The freshness from the lemon and dill is insane. The salmon is perfect. Like, that takes 5 minutes, however long it really took right here. Hats off to Gordon Ramsay, because that is so freaking delicious. You have this like savory umami flavor that you get from the salmon itself. Tons of fresh like herbal flavor, especially from the dill. But the Nashville hot kind of brings it into this cohesive, like little spicy, but a touch sweet. It just really works really, really well and kind of takes it to a new level. Honestly, this is insane. Level 1 with your butter-basted steak. Level 2 is the salmon. Level 3. Beef Wellington. Let's make it. So today we're actually making it exactly the way that he makes it in his restaurant, which is usually just a filet, not a whole tenderloin. We're gonna make beef Wellington Derek Wolfe style. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil and then season. Simple seasoning. Salt, pepper, garlic, classic. Going right on the grill, hot and fast. We're not fully cooking this guy, we just want a good crust. Boom. All right, so let's let that rip here for about a minute. Sear both sides. All right, so we have our beautiful filet. Has a nice little crust on it. Next thing, we're gonna brush him down with a little bit of Dijon mustard. We're gonna start preparing the wrap. So we have this beautiful duxelle. So it's basically reduced down mushrooms with some other herbs and garlic. We wanna take as much of the moisture out of the mushrooms because mushrooms have a lot of water, and we don't want our puff pastry to get soggy. So cook it all down. I'm gonna place this on a base level of sliced prosciutto. So the mushrooms just kind of add like this extra earthy savoriness to this dish. All right, so we have our duxelle, we have the prosciutto. I have it wrapped with plastic wrap. Drop it down, and now we're just gonna wrap this as tightly as possible. Try and get it super duper tight. Boom. Now place this in the fridge and let it set for about 30 minutes. We have some puff pastry dough. I'm gonna flatten it out just a little bit. I 100% made this, as my mom would say. It is homemade. It made it home from the store. All right, so we're just gonna flatten it out just a little bit, nothing too crazy. Then let's unwrap this guy. So wrapping it and getting it super tight really helps to get as much of the air pockets out, as well as cooling it down enough so it just isn't like completely overwhelming and too hot, and it cooks through the dough and it just can kind of make a mess. Place this boy right in the center. I have another piece, and now we're just going to get it nice and tight. And then I'm just gonna trim the outside. Doesn't need to be perfect. And boom. Now, this is looking really good. I have some parchment paper right onto the parchment. I'm just gonna make sure all the sides are nice and clean and pretty. All right, Now we have an egg wash. I'm just gonna brush over the top of this. This is just gonna help get that beautiful golden color that you love to see on beef Wellingtons. And now I'm just gonna do a light score over the top. And there you go. All right, so we have our Wellington ready to go. I'm gonna pour off a little bit of this egg so we don't have too much moisture sitting on the bottom. And now, traditionally, this is thrown into the oven, but today we're gonna put it in a Dutch oven. I'm gonna add this guy right into the center. Now, normally we're gonna bake it for about 400 for about like 15, 20 minutes until it's golden brown. I have preheated the top skillet, so it's about 450. Make sure it's airtight. Let's throw it onto the coals. I've created a divot. Gonna add my guy in, and then using some like really nice welding gloves. If you don't have those, just use a shovel. Gonna add some coals over the top of it. All right, so this should take about 15, 20 minutes or so. We shouldn't have to add more coals. I will say this though, if you are like an old school chuck wagon style cooker, you're more than welcome to use briquettes. There is online like the number of briquettes that you need to add in order to get the right temperature that you're looking for. You can also do it in a classic Dutch oven. You could also probably do this in foil to a degree. It would just get really hot and could burn the pastry. Look at that. Look at that. Look at this thing. This is really hot. I'm gonna put it down. So this guy's been resting for about like 10 minutes. It's a little charred around the outsides. Like, I'm not gonna pretend like this is the most perfect Wellington that I've ever made, but it was a lot of fun. The moment of truth. Let's see how it looks on the inside. Dude, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so we have like a base for a fantastic creamy horseradish, but I'm gonna add my garlic herb rub, throwing it back a little bit. This is basically like a chimichurri, more herbal chimichurri. Mix that in. So we got like a garlic herb cream sauce. This is incredible. And yes, you can cook beef Wellington over the fire. Let's do a taste test. Do it like a proper American, like a burger. I've died and gone to heaven, because that is insane. That is one of the best things I've ever eaten. That is so good, man. Dude, juicy, tender, savory. The flakiness is incredible from the pastry dough, the garlic herb sauce. Oh my gosh, man. And honestly, cooking over the fire, 10 out of 10. Beat that, Gordon Ramsay. The difference between this and like the traditional Gordon Ramsay style Wellington, number one, we grilled it over the fire to get that beautiful sear, got some char marks on there, and we're gonna get some of that like charcoaly, smoky flavor onto the actual meat. Number two, we're baking it. Some of that charcoal, even though it's not like fully encased by the cast iron, some of that charcoal and that smokiness is going to make it onto this food no matter what. When you cook with live fire, you're gonna get that flavor profile no matter what you do, so it's just gonna have a beautiful taste. The garlic herb into the cream sauce just takes it to another level, man. It makes it taste delicious and savory, but also have this like kind of herbaceousness to it. Go and check out, I have a beef Wellington recipe on my blog. You can go and check that out. It's pretty freaking delicious. Go and get my cowboy butter rub, cowboy candy, fire grill. This thing rocks. And as always, stay so freaking delicious. Cheers. Dude, this is incredible. There are sometimes I take bites and I'm like, oh yeah, that's pretty good. 20 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10. Bye.